We are dizzy from the craziest in-season coaching carousel we can remember. So many firings by midseason, and now the hiring process has begun. James Franklin going to Virginia Tech. We're waiting to find out which hat Lane Kiffin will pick off the table on Thanksgiving Friday when he's eating his leftovers. But this is nuts.
This is incredible, and it's being orchestrated by a mad scientist by the name of Jimmy Sexton. He's got a number of clients, and he is basically selling them to all weight, and they're remaking the market. And what Lane, with LSU and Florida as suitors, along with obviously the school that he's with, Ole Miss, is able to play the game, which allows his representation to basically move the other pieces around. And what's now the most recent development is Kalen DeBoer's name's out there as a potential at Penn State. Kalen's another Jimmy Sexton client, and he can literally now play Penn State, who would love to have him. I mean, they don't really have anybody of his caliber right now on their list. If they can get Kalen, now that means Alabama's open, which now means that both Florida and LSU have to raise the deal. Oh, it's incredible.
So he's the Notre Dame of this coaching carousel, right?
He's with the finger up. With the
Leave us out of this.
No, he's just got that type of juice. I'm giving you your props, dog.
Listen, I don't have any idea what Lane wants to do, but I do know that he's being told not to do anything until this market continues to move in the direction that the guy pulling the strings has the ability to do.
Incredible silly season, as they call it in NASCAR. I mean, this is a whole nother level. Going back to Lane, and AT and I were discussing this, how does this affect that locker room? You're going to be here, you're not going to be here. You know, let me know so as a player I have a jumping off point.
Right.
And I can decide my future.
A couple of things. Well, first of all, we have an example of it, right? When Auburn was knocking on the door a couple of years ago, they ended up losing that Egg Bowl, right?
Exactly.
But this is more of a construct from this roster is more of a construct from the transfer portal.
True.
Who are all playing this game too.
I understand.
Yeah, so what's really difficult for the school that's trying to hang on to the guy, and by the way, we've got Rhett Lashley, Mike Elko, Matt Rule, Jeff Prom have all re-upped with their current schools.
And they're not Jimmy Sexton clients.
I don't believe they are, no. When you have that situation, it's easy to lock on and everybody stay in. With all these others, these teams can go with them. We all remember what Kirk Cignetti brought with him from James Madison when he went to Indiana, which is a model now for how to reinvent yourself quickly.
One of the big reasons I chose to go to Notre Dame is because I knew I would graduate, right? At the time, they graduated 97% of their student athletes. I wasn't the best student, but I knew I wasn't 3%, so I'd probably get a degree if I got out of there. But they sold me on 4 for $40, and going there and being part of something greater than yourself and creating your own legacy. And that was the old model. I get what's going on. I get the portal. I get NIL. I get everything. But this part, the business part of the football business, sucks, man. It's these kids have an opportunity to win a national championship, to be in the playoffs and do something special, and they're being held hostage by an agent who's trying to add money that he doesn't necessarily need to be able to create all these pieces.
Don't hate the player.
I'm not.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
But I don't have to appreciate and like what's going on. I get it. It's fiscally responsible for Jimmy Sexton.
And all the clients benefit, right? If all this happens, Kirby Smart's going to get a bump because he's still the best out there. And
we don't begrudge anybody getting their money. This is how the game's played, and I can understand your frustration, AT, but this is the way it is, and until we come up with a different way, and you're correct about resetting the market. Some of the schools, Baylor, Maryland, and who's one other? Wisconsin, they say we're going to stand pat, and so maybe that helps level all this out down the road where you hold on to the guy you have, and as you have said in the past, now you have more coin that you could disseminate to the players.
Isn't it also a talent of Lane Kiffin's to actually be able to take on the attention, embrace the attention, put out tweets, versus a lot of coaches would tell their agent, stand pat, let me get this team through the playoff, let me see what I can do with these players, and maybe then I'll go to Florida or LSU and take a bunch of them with me.
He is the master of the awkward dismount.
Yep.
He got fired on the tarmac at SC. They wanted to name a sewer treatment plant for him at Tennessee after the one-and-done year there. He got let go before the national championship game at Alabama when he was headed to Florida Atlantic. I mean, he is awkward when it comes to this, but he's also the most coveted coach out there, which is amazing. But it's a simple answer how to fix this. The simple answer is to, as the NFL does, you have to wait till the end of the season. Well, no one can do that now because recruiting has been moved up. Move recruiting back to the month of February, maybe even a week later than it used to be. Put that there. Let people finish their seasons. Then you can talk to a coach. And then by the transfer portal, which also fits in the middle of all this nonsense, you got to move that to the end of the school year. And then put spring practice back in the early summer.
Okay, Coach,
that you can do it all.
We move spring practice, or excuse me, signing day back to the original date in February. Do you still have an opportunity to get the early enrollees in?
Only if they've graduated from high school. I know they reclassify and all that stuff. I think that's a disservice to kids too. We all went to high school. Who wants to miss our last semester there? We're hurrying this too much along.
I don't know.
But it's hard to put the genie back in the bottle. I understand that.
So let's turn it to something positive, and that's Virginia Tech and James Franklin. This is going to be the home run hire of this cycle. From a fit, from an economic standpoint, from a feasibility standpoint, if James Franklin can do anything, he can turn a program around. Hampton Roads in the 757, he's about to Allen Iverson crossover that bad boy and recruit, because he recruits his tail off there. They got him for pennies on the dollar, if you will, for what this current market is, and it puts him back in a position of strength where he can go get it. This, I think, moving forward is going to be the model where you take a proven winner, and when you look at him, I think what we're going to see in the coaching ranks is that just like free agency in the NFL, all money's not good money. You don't just want to go where you can get the top dollar. He can go 10-win seasons at Virginia Tech and win that conference and be in the playoff every year, and they'll be building a statue out in front of him in front of that stadium. Yeah. He does that at different places. It's going to look different. I believe we're going to start to see coaches start to make different decisions and follow.
Well, it's a good fit because he knows the landscape. He was head coach in waiting at Maryland. He goes to Vandy, then he goes to Penn State. Then the folks at Maryland were mad because he was coming in to their territory and pulling recruits out of there. And then you got Maryland, you got Virginia, you got the D.C. area where he's well-versed in how to go and recruit and pluck those kids.
So who takes his place at Penn State? Because everyone who's been mentioned as a candidate for that job has re-upped. The guys you mentioned before with Matt Rule, Mike Elko. Who's taking the Penn State job?
Well, Kalen DeBoer is the latest name to be thrown out there. Let's say no. Let's say he stays right there at Alabama. Bob Chesney is a guy from Pennsylvania. He's the current head coach at James Madison. We just saw what the former James Madison coach did. That wouldn't be surprising to see Bob Chesney get that chance. Bob Chesney was talking to UCLA and had held them off. And the reason people are thinking and surmising is he potentially is in a conversation with the Nittany Lions.
What about Pat Fitzgerald? His name came back around, exonerated.
I think the exoneration, we've talked about America being the country of second chances. Pat Fitzgerald, I think with kind of the exoneration and the PR tour that he went on, enough time has passed. He's a fit in this conference. He knows how to win in this conference. He's familiar with that part of the country. That would be a home run hire for them to get the football right. But because they've been a school that's been mired in some controversy, you would understand why they'd be a little bit hesitant to even take.
Or if he could end up somewhere.
I think he'll end up somewhere. He's looking for the perfect fit. I thought if Deion's health was an issue and Colorado became open, he would then end up at Colorado where he started as a graduate assistant.
The question's going to be where Ed O ends up.
Where's he gonna be? I guess we didn't mention, like Lane Kiffin apparently, according to Matt Zennett's reporting, has a major
one of his
offer
chief lieutenants of all time.
Yes.
From LSU, and I
think
might see Ed O back. We'll see. Crazy season indeed.